I recognize the member from Regina Walsh Acres.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It's an honour and a privilege to enter the Speech from the Throne debate on behalf of the people of Walsh Acres. Mr. Speaker, I've been thinking about the first time I visited this chamber, and it wasn't in 1957 like my colleague from Regina Douglas Park. My first time at this building was my grade 5 trip in 1993.
6 years ago.
And I remember walking up to this building and thinking it looked like a castle. And after we had our tour, we saw the marble in the building, all the shiny floors and the pictures, and we all got to go and have lunch at the MLA dining room. And before we came up to question period, because we were going to be able to watch the assembly from the speaker's gallery, we were told a few things by our teacher. And one of the most important was be respectful, pay attention, and above all else, be quiet. So you can imagine my surprise, Mr. Speaker, once question period got underway. Here is a group of grown-ups doing the exact opposite of what we've been told not to do. They were shouting, talking over top of one another, and they never raised their hands once. We were amazed. In a word, it was awesome. When I got home that night, when I got back to the farm at Rush Lake, I proudly ran into the house and said, "Mom, Dad, I'm going to be a politician." They looked a little surprised because who wants their 10-year-old to be a politician? And they said, well, why would you want to be a politician? And without missing a beat, I said, who wouldn't want a job where you could talk whenever you wanted to? Mr. Speaker, I felt that exact same childlike sense of wonder the first time I walked up the stairs of the legislature as an MOA after the people of Walsh Acres gave me the honour to represent them on November the 7th. Hear, hear. Over the last few years, I've had the opportunity to work in this building, firstly in government process and cabinet planning, and then over the last 2 years, I've been working in the caucus office as the director of research. And I've had the opportunity to work with the men and women who I'm now proud to call colleagues. In fact, Mr. Speaker, it's nice to look around and see a few familiar faces from that first class trip in 1993. You were one of those faces, and so is the member from Moosomin and the member from Kindersley. And I'm proud to call them colleagues as well. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to congratulate you on your election as Speaker of the Legislature. I've had the opportunity to get to know you over the last few years, and I'm sure you're going to do an excellent job. Before I get too far into the response to the throne speech, there are a lot of people that I need to thank for having the opportunity to rise in this historic chamber and give this response today. First and foremost, I must thank my wife, Larissa. Hear, hear. Hear, hear. She's the most amazing woman I know, and she's been with me every step of the way. From when we decided to run and get the nomination, straight through till the results came in on election night, she actually may have been the only person in Saskatchewan more nervous than myself. Next, I need to thank the good people of Walsh Acres for giving me the opportunity to represent them. I'm humbled by the support that they've given not only me, but this government. I feel very privileged and honored that they entrust me to be their voice in the legislature. The next people I need to thank are my campaign team. Mr. Speaker, I may be a little biased and me and my seatmate may have words over this, but I believe I had the best group of volunteers in the whole province. And without this wonderful group of men and women, there is no way that I'd be here today. And I know it's not enough, and it sure won't be, but to each and every one of them, I just want to say thank you. They put in many hours. They worked hard, tireless hours, and from signing letters to writing notes to licking envelopes to going out door knocking with me. And I also want to thank my caucus colleagues who made the time to come and door knock with me. It is greatly appreciated, and your help meant the world to us. Mr. Speaker, before we get into the throne speech, I would like to take a few minutes to decide where we've been to where we are today, and then go on to where we're going to go into the future. Mr. Speaker, today in Saskatchewan, more people than ever are calling our province home. Our population is at an all-time high of 1,057,844. And I firmly do believe that we've grown by 13,856 people in the past year. And I do believe people vote with their feet. And people are seeing Saskatchewan as a place to come and have economic opportunities, and that is seen in our population growth. And I think that does say a lot for our province in this time of economic uncertainty all over the world. Today in Saskatchewan, our economy is leading the nation, and it's predicted to lead the nation again next year. And this is something that we've learned recently, is that Saskatchewan's average weekly earnings, including overtime, increased by 6.9% in September compared to September 2010. The national average increased by 1.1%. Saskatchewan's weekly earnings are $906.22, which is the second highest in Canada. And that's something where I remember years ago that Saskatchewan always used to be 7th, 8th in weekly earnings, and that's something that we have changed, and I believe because we are second now, we are ahead of Ontario. It's another reason why people are seeing Saskatchewan as a place to come to and have some opportunities. Mr. Speaker, today in Saskatchewan, surgical wait lists are getting shorter, and our government made the commitment by 2014 to ensure that no one waits longer than 3 months for surgery. Today in Saskatchewan, people with disabilities have the SED program, which allows them to have an income support program. And today in Saskatchewan, 1/3 of our schools have been repaired or renovated, and there are more than 3,400 new child care spaces. Something that has been important to us, and I've been a recent graduate from the University of Regina, and you see this all over the province, is that our post-secondary education system is seeing record investments. Student loan limits have been increased, and new student housing is being built. Today in Saskatchewan, taxes are lower. Income taxes, education property taxes, and small business taxes have all been reduced in our first term as government. And last but not least, because this is one of the things that we've heard on the doorstep the most over our campaign, is today in Saskatchewan, debt has been reduced by 44%, and the budget is balanced. Mr. Speaker, to get back to post-secondary education for a moment, we made a campaign commitment that we were going to try and make post-secondary education more affordable. And beginning in 2012, we're going to provide up to $2,000 over 4 years to new high school graduates to reduce the cost of post-secondary tuition in Saskatchewan. Now that's $500 a year that's going to go towards people being able to afford education, and it's something where I know going to university is that having an extra $500 throughout the year does mean a lot to us, and it allows people to perhaps not eat Kraft dinner every day, which is something where me and my roommates did a lot of. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, to make post-secondary education more affordable, we're going to match up to 10% of the annual contribution to a child's RESP account to a maximum of $250 annually. This is in addition to basic Canada Education Savings Grants. Mr. Speaker, there are parents here that are saving for children's education, and this makes it a little more money in the bank account for parents that are looking to ensure that their children have a better future right here in our province.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Speaker, there is one more thing I'd like to talk about post-secondary education, and that's the graduate retention program that we put in place in our first term. And this is one of the reasons why I did get involved in public service, is that when I graduated, well, first of all, my sisters and brother graduated. They all left this province because they didn't see economic opportunities, and they didn't think Saskatchewan was the place where they wanted to start their lives. And that stuck with me throughout my whole life, actually, because I remember being on the farm and loading up the trucks for my brothers and sisters, and they left all over North America. And I wondered, what's going to happen when I graduate? And in 2000, when I graduated high school, I couldn't believe that half of my graduating class all left, and my friends all went to Alberta, and they all went to Medicine Hat, and they went to Calgary, and I couldn't understand why people didn't want to stay in our province. and then I realized they just didn't see the opportunities there and they couldn't make a go of it. So, Mr. Speaker, our graduate retention program has attracted young people back to this province in droves. And I'm happy to say that my brother's back in Lloydminster. He's on the Saskatchewan side, so he is back in Saskatchewan. So, and I'd like to say that a lot of my friends are coming home too, and that means a lot because I think it's great to have bring families back together, and that's something that the graduate retention program has done. And then we've expanded it to have graduates come from all over Canada, and we're going to have more young people in our province, which is a great thing to see. Mr. Speaker, next on the doorsteps in Regina and Walsh Acres, I talked to many seniors, and they had questions and concerns, and I was proud to see that part of our campaign did deal with some of the questions seniors did have. And over our first term, we doubled the senior income plan, and that's something that people found was very useful to them. And it's good to see that we've made the commitment to increase the senior income plan some more and increase the maximum senior income plan benefit to $80 per month, or almost $1,000 a year annually. Next, the Saskatchewan Senior Income Plan provides benefits to low-income seniors, including a monthly income supplement and access to extended health benefits. Our next commitment during the campaign was provides a senior in personal care home benefit, a $3,000 annual benefit to low-income seniors residing in personal care homes beginning next year. Mr. Speaker, seniors helped build this province. They were the pioneers, and we believe that giving them the best quality of life after their retirement is something that's very important to this government, and I'm proud to say that we've been moving forward on these issues. Mr. Speaker, another challenge that comes with growth is affordability. And being a younger person in our caucus, I know that some challenges that young people face is the first home that they're going to buy for them and their family. And during the campaign, we made this commitment, and we reiterate during the throne speech of the first-time home buyers tax credit. We introduced a new $10,000 tax credit for the first-time homeowners, saving them $1,100. Mr. Speaker, we've gone through this recently with finding a new home, and every little bit does help. And I believe that getting young people into homes faster also frees up some rental properties, and that's a situation that is another challenge of growth. And I believe that this first-time home buyers tax credit is going to do just that. Mr. Speaker, in our first term, the Saskatchewan Party government reduced the small business tax rate by more than 4.5% to 2%. This is the third lowest small business tax rate in Canada, and I believe this is one of the reasons why our economy has continued to move forward. I do have friends, and I've referenced my brother before, but his wife started up a clothing company in Lloydminster, and I believe this is has something to do with creating an environment where young people believe that they can make a go of it in business, and I think that is a job of the government to make sure that people do have some chances and opportunities, and they see these opportunities within the province to take a chance and start up a business and become successful entrepreneurs. Speaker, I know it's getting on, but I would like to talk about our government's investment. Our government's 4-year highway investment of over $2.2 billion is the largest in the province's history. We've fixed over 6,000 kilometers of Saskatchewan highways that has been improved over the past 4 years. And you can see these results right here in Regina. You can see by the completion that we announced of the Louvain interchange a couple of weeks ago. And also the Pinky interchange has been started. And there's some construction right in Walsh Acres on 9th Avenue North. It's going to be twinned. And that's something where people have, on the doorsteps, people said, traffic's getting a little more congested in Regina Walsh Acres, and I said, well, we're going to see if we can get something done about that. So, Mr. Speaker, there's been some historic investments to build and repair Saskatchewan schools over the last 4 years. And since 2007, over 1/3 of all Saskatchewan schools have benefited from repairs, renovations, or new school buildings. 38 major school capital projects are completed or underway. 580 smaller school capital projects have been undertaken across Saskatchewan, and our government have created more licensed child care spaces in 4 years than the NDP government did over 16. Since 2007, under the Saskatchewan Party government, the number of licensed child care spaces has increased by 35%. Mr. Speaker, on-campus child care spaces have increased by 30%, and 115 pre-kindergarten programs have been created since 2007, an increase of nearly 75%. Mr. Speaker, one of the things that drew me to the Saskatchewan Party the most is our commitment to tax reduction. In an average Saskatchewan family of 4, after our first term in government, will pay no taxes on the first $45,500 of earned income, and that's the highest tax-free income threshold in Canada. A single income earner will pay no income tax on the first $17,580 he or she earns. Over the past 4 years, a family of 4 that makes $50,000 annually has paid $8,000 less in taxes than they would have under the former government's regime. Mr. Speaker, and I think that's something important, because at the heart of what I believe personally, is that people know what best to do with their own money. And the more money we can put into people's pockets, I think is a better thing for all residents of Saskatchewan. Mr. People, we've also lowered taxes for persons with disabilities and caregivers. The supplement for disabled children has more than doubled, from $4,095 to $8,563. The disability tax rate has increased from $7,021 to $8,563. Mr. Speaker, this goes with our vision from the throne speech, and our vision that simply says, Saskatchewan will be the best place in Canada to live, to work, to start a business, to get an education, and to raise a family, and to build a life. Mr. Speaker, this includes people with disabilities. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, there's one project that has happened over the last 4 years that's close to my heart. It was something I worked very closely with the former member from Melfort, and that's the STARS program that we're bringing to Saskatchewan. Mr. Speaker, the Saskatchewan Party government has dedicated $5 million this year to purchase 2 Shock Trauma Air Society medical helicopters. And I've been able to visit the bases in Grand Prairie, and I've visited the bases in Calgary. Mr. Speaker, these people are committed to saving lives, and it's something where you go into their bases, and you go and you meet the people, and you meet the pilots, and you meet the emergency crews, and they're so committed, and they're so happy to get to work. And it's something where it's an amazing organization that Dr. Powell and Linda have created, and it's something where, being from rural Saskatchewan, I realized when accidents happen, you're sometimes further away from help than you'd like, and when you see those helicopters in the air, you're going to know that you're getting first-class emergency services as soon as they hit the ground. And I know that they're going to work closely with the emergency services that are in place already, and it's going to be a great system, and they're going to save a lot of lives in this province, and that's something that the former member from Melfort is very proud of, and it's something where I was very honored to be a part of that system moving forward. Mr. Speaker, the speech from the throne lays out our government's vision over the next 4 years. Balanced budgets, reduced debt, maintaining a competitive tax structure, and using our prosperity to make life more affordable in our province, and taking action to ensure that Saskatchewan residents enjoy the highest quality of life in Canada. In closing, Mr. Speaker, the above reasons will be why I'll be supporting the motion put forward by the member from Regina Douglas Park. Thank you.